Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
Well, good. I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go. I'm a little worried looking at your background. I know you're in the City of Light, and I'm sure it's a wonderful evening. But how are you, Julien? What's up?
Yeah, I was about to whine, but the fact that you make such a point to be on brand is, you just made my day. So, not in a bad mood. The story I'm about to share is something that happened literally last night. It's
Oh
a very
man,
short story. I'm not
that's
sure. I don't
fresh.
even know if it's a good or a bad one. It's definitely a bad one, but there is some silver lining. So, we've had friends, my wife's friends, staying over for the past 4 or 5 days. They're coming from abroad, so they stayed with us for a few days, visiting Paris and doing a lot of shopping, like a lot of shopping. And being a good host for the first 4 nights, I cooked something different every night. And then come the fifth night, and I'm just like, yeah, not happening today.
Not
We're
cooking
gonna
all.
order. So we ordered. We usually don't throw names. Yeah, forget it. We use Uber Eats, and we order from a restaurant that we order every now and then because we know it's good. It's an Indian restaurant, very good quality
Mm.
food, affordable price, and all of that. And we know they're slow. And by slow, I mean between the order and the delivery, there is usually at least 45 minutes up to an hour, which I'm not sure if it's a lot or not in the US, but typically it's 20 to 30 minutes around where I live. This one is double of that, but it's worth
That doesn't feel like French dining, but okay.
it.
It's takeout. That's a different thing.
So we place the order, we wait, we have a few drinks, we chit chat, and then the delivery guy rings a bell. My wife goes out to pick up the food, and it's actually very lucky that my wife's pick it up because she is way more detail oriented to this kind of stuff than I may be. I would typically pick the bag, get in, and that's done. But she picks a bag and she checks in and inside the bag and she said, "Yeah, it's not my order here." The guy say,
Oh
"Yeah,
no.
definitely your order." So my wife calls me, and while she's calling me, she's checking the ticket, and she said, "Look, you see the items on this order? Now look at my phone. They have nothing in common. This is not my order." And the guy said, "Oh, it can be. That's your order. Look at the name on the top of the ticket." My wife look and say, "Do I look like a John? Because I'm not a John. My name is not John. This is not my order." Now the guy is saying, "Well, I don't know what to tell." And I arrive at this point and I say, "Look, let me call the restaurant. I'm sure we can figure this out." So I call the restaurant, pick up my phone. And by the time I click to place a call, the guy has a helmet on his head and he just runs off and leaves us the food to figure it out. And so I call the restaurant, and the restaurant tells me, "Look, I'm sorry. I was waiting for your call. It happens very often. The drivers just come in, pick whatever bags they see, and leave with it without checking with us. I know it's not your order. There is nothing I can do. What you need to do now is to call the platform and complain that it's not your order. And then place a new order with us, and we'll deliver as quickly as possible." And I say, "Look, we waited for an hour. I'm hungry. You don't want to deal with me when I'm hungry. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not waiting for another hour." I go on the platform. There is a very simple, straightforward chatbot where you pick what the problem is. I did not receive the right order. Please take a picture. I take a picture of the order with, the ticket showing that is
The
the
thing
wrong
saying
number and the
John.
wrong name. And then within 5 minutes, they say, we are just going to reimburse it to you. You're going to have it within the next 3 to 5 days, which is typical when you pay by credit card, so no surprises here. And I'm saying it's a bad story and a good story because bad story, obviously not what I ordered. We actually had a dinner for 2 people while we placed an order for 4. But they ordered a bunch of stuff. The food was not what I expected, but the quality was there, and we got a free dinner because ultimately that was over $70 US. So I got a free dinner out of it, which is a silver lining. But a terrible experience because not the right order, waiting very long for nothing, having the restaurant telling me, not really my problem, you got to figure it out. And the worst of it to me is the driver just taking off as soon as I'm not looking, which is, you can bet he had bad ratings on my end. So that's my story. It's a short one, less complex than the usual ones, but what do I do with this?
Yeah, it's short and painful. I mean, there's the phrase short and sweet, but this is anything but that. Um, not surprising that it's yet another delivery story for you. I think that's the
It
first
is.
point to be made here. Um, the getting your money back, yeah, that's a good thing and that's fine, but that's just so minimal in this situation. I mean, to me, this is a Uber Eats needs to get their act together story. The attitude of the driver was bad. It is common, apparently, that the drivers just go grab whatever the heck they want and don't even bother to check what the order is. It's like, why are you doing a delivery service that is just that demoralized, that uncaring, and that sloppy? It just,
So
great. You got some food you didn't want. Wow. I this is bad. I just think, and the poor restaurant, you know, bad for them to just be like, not my problem, but I get it. I don't know what else they can do. Uh,
the thing
I'll just start with that. I don't know what you think back.
where I was thinking about going with the story is that I think it's a lose, 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 lose situation.
Okay, yeah, I think that's about right.
It's a loss for the customer because even though I technically had a free dinner, that's not what I wanted, neither in
Right,
type nor
right.
in quantity. It's a lose for the restaurant because it's definitely not helping with their reputation. I don't know what happens in the background afterwards, whether the money is taken from them or whether that's Uber Eats covering the cost. No idea, but I'm assuming they're
Boy, it better be
losing
Uber
something.
Eats since it sounds like this guy just, your order was right next to it and he picked up a different one.
Well, yeah, but there are very few books in which Goliath does not win. I'm guessing a restaurant versus Uber Eats, one needs the other
Fair
more
enough. Fair
than the
enough.
former.
Good
So
point. Good point. Hmm.
it's a lose for Uber Eats because assuming they take the hit, then they've lost that $70. And it's definitely a lose for the driver because as I was that's funny the impact that this vlog has on me because as I was walking back in with my bag, I was furious at the driver, but I was actually already thinking, what does that mean from a CX perspective? And while being furious at the driver, I was already thinking, I know why this guy took off. Because he's probably making €1 for this delivery.
Yeah.
Is it really worth his time trying to fix it because they are making no money out of it? They are rude, they make tons of mistakes, they don't always speak the local language, but they are paid such a ridiculous amount and they got none of the perks of being an employee, right? They're not employees, they are freelancers.
Right.
So what can you really expect from people you're paying so poorly? And what I get is probably what I paid for. So I'm thinking it's probably the whole model that is wrong here, more than this specific CX.
You said exactly what came to my mind, and I think it's a perfect summary of this whole thing. You get what you pay for. That we are so, airlines are the same game, right? It's like we're going to cut the cost down. The only thing people buy a ticket for, or many people buy a ticket for, is what's the cheapest one. And they don't even bother to say, oh, wait, this is this much, but then I'm going to pay for my bag and I'm going to pay for this and I'm going to pay for that. And all of a sudden, it's not the cheapest one anymore. Same sort of thing here. I want my food and I want it. I don't want to pay to have somebody deliver it, but I want somebody to deliver it. So what's a way to do that so cheaply that I'm willing to pay the extra money? And we've built a model that by definition, kills any chance at a decent customer experience.
Because I was thinking that while Uber is at fault, they've probably done the only thing that they could do to make it right without changing the entire model, obviously, because they could do that, but they don't. But making it super easy for me to make a claim and get my money back immediately without having to call a hotline and make a case and all of that is probably the only thing they could do right, and they did it beautifully. But they're not fixing the problem, they're fixing the symptom. And I'm guessing if they do it that way, it means they make money out of it anyway. They'd rather cancel one order every 100 orders instead of fixing the whole model.
And the thing is, if they fix the model, they'll charge more. Somebody will come in and charge less, and we'll be right back where we were. I hate to be cynical, but I think this is one where we collectively as consumers, at least I know it works this way in the United States, I'm assuming it's the same there, we don't want to pay any more than we absolutely have to, and we're absolutely getting what we pay for.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, and I may be wrong because I'm quite familiar with the model of OTAs, online travel agents. I'm not familiar with the model of Uber Eats and Deliveroo and Food Panda and all of these guys. I'm less familiar with it. But I'm guessing they take a nasty cut. I'm guessing most restaurants are not using Uber Eats because they love it. I'm guessing they are using it because it's the only way to get awareness and get customers to take deliveries. And as a result, because they take such a cut, then restaurants can't cut their prices any lower, and the person paying the price is actually the delivery guy who has no other choice but to do his delivery as quickly as possible.
Right.
I'm not sure we've fixed anything today, though.
I don't think so. I think you being in France are in a much better position to fix this than I am in the United States, because you all go on strike every other week anyway. So I think the Uber Eats guys need to go on strike and make a bunch of noise, because that won't happen here.
There's been plenty of discussions around this. I'm guessing one big reason why they don't go on strike is there's probably a bunch of illegal workers that really wants to stay under the radar and don't want to make too much noise. And that makes it even worse, because that's exploitation of people who just can't defend themselves. And the whole story, we started with just talking about food, and now we are talking about modern slavery, which is not really where I was expecting to go with my food story.
Yeah, and it's where that lives, unfortunately.
So bad model, and we're all guilty, and that's on me to fix it. Okay, I guess I get the end of that story then.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's you.
Thank you for helping me at least feel better, and hopefully you'll have a slightly lighter story for us next week.
Well, I know I feel bad because I think I didn't make you feel better, but glad we got a chance to talk it through, and we'll talk next week. Thanks.
Thank you, Max. Bye.